I will talk today about the United States occupation of Nicaragua. In the early 20th century, the United States was a rising global power looking south. For over 2 decades, from 1912 to 1933, the nation of Nicaragua lived under the shadow of American rifles and the weight of American banks. This is a story not of a single invasion, but of a prolonged intervention, a tale of dollar diplomacy, guerrilla warfare, and the birth of a revolutionary icon. This is the story of how the United States tried to build a protectorate, and how a small nation fought for its soul. Nicaragua's fate was sealed by geography and economics. For American strategists, it was the prime canal route before Panama. For American bankers, it was a debtor nation, ripe for control. Under President Taft's dollar diplomacy, the goal was to substitute dollars for bullets, using financial leverage to ensure stability and pro-American governments. The 1911 Knox-Castrillo Treaty was a U.S.-Nicaraguan agreement to establish American financial oversight, making Nicaragua a protectorate by placing its customs collection under a U.S.-approved official to secure loans for debt restructuring. Adolfo Diaz became Washington's favored client because of the pervasive political instability in Nicaragua, which threatened American economic interests and regional hegemony, particularly regarding the potential for an interoceanic canal. In 1912, a liberal rebellion threatened Diaz's pro-U.S. regime. Diaz made an unprecedented request: send in the U.S. Marines. Over 2,500 Marines landed, not just to protect American interests, but to guarantee Diaz's presidency. The rebellion was crushed at the Battle of Coyotepe Hill in October 1912, but the Marines didn't leave. A legation guard of 100 Marines remained in Managua for 13 years, a constant physical reminder of who held the ultimate power. With a Marine garrison ensuring so-called stability, the U.S. tightened its grip. The 1913 Bryan Chamorro Treaty granted the U.S. exclusive rights to a canal in perpetuity and naval bases for a sum of $3 million. More critically, American officials were installed to collect customs revenues and run the national bank. Nicaragua's treasury was now in Washington's pocket. In 1926, another civil war erupted. To so-called protect American lives and property, President Calvin Coolidge sent 5,000 Marines back in force. They supervised a peace deal, the Espino-Negro Accord, negotiated by Henry Stimson. The deal installed a compromise president, but disarmed the liberals while leaving the conservative militias intact. One liberal general refused to surrender his weapons. He was Augusto Sandino. Sandino, a nationalist of humble origins, retreated to the northern mountains. He denounced the U.S.-brokered peace as a betrayal and the Nicaraguan government as a puppet. His army for the defense of national sovereignty was a ragtag force of peasants, miners, and patriots. To Washington, he was a bandit. To many Nicaraguans, he was becoming a symbol. The U.S. Marine Corps faced a new kind of enemy. Sandino's guerrillas used hit-and-run tactics, blending into the population. The Marines responded with technological superiority, air power for reconnaissance and bombing, and a fateful innovation, creating a local U.S. officered constabulary, the Guardia Nacional. The conflict grew brutal, with villages suspected of aiding Sandino facing harsh reprisals. By the early 1930s, the occupation was a quagmire. It was expensive and increasingly unpopular in the U.S., especially after the Great Depression began. Journalists like Carlton Beals exposed the war's realities. Under President Hoover's good neighbor policy rhetoric, the U.S. sought an exit. The plan: train the Guardia Nacional to take over, then leave. In 1933, the last Marines departed. Sandino, believing the fight for sovereignty was won, agreed to a peace deal with the new government. But the U.S.-created Guardia Nacional, now commanded by Anastasio Somoza Garcia, remained. On February 21, 1934, after a dinner at the presidential palace, Sandino was ambushed and executed by Somoza's Guardia. The nationalist hero was gone. The ultimate outcome of the 21-year occupation was not democracy, but a dictatorship. In 1936, Somoza used the Guardia to seize the presidency. For 42 years, the Somoza family ruled Nicaragua as a private fiefdom, lavishly supported by the United States as a loyal anti-communist ally. The Guardia was their instrument of terror. Sandino's martyrdom created a potent national myth. In the 1960s, a new generation of revolutionaries named themselves the Sandinista National Liberation Front, FSLN. They fought to overthrow the Somoza dynasty, the very entity created by the U.S. occupation. In 1979, they succeeded. The cycle had come full circle. An intervention designed to create stability ultimately produced a revolution deeply skeptical of and hostile to American power. The U.S. occupation of Nicaragua stands as a classic case of imperial overreach. It aimed to guarantee financial returns and strategic security, but created a legacy of resentment and blowback that lasted for a century. It showed the limits of military power against nationalist resolve and showed how the tools of control, like a trained National Guard, can take on a bloody life of their own. In the end, the story of Nicaragua from 1912 to 1933 is a foundational chapter in the turbulent history of U.S.-Latin American relations, a history where the past is never truly past. What other lesser-known interventions should we explore? Let us know in the comments. For a deeper look at the era, check out our next video on the Banana Wars. Thank you.